Welcome to Can I Park Here? Brought to you by findafashiontruck.com. Nashay and Estrell's mission is to inspire future and existing small business owners. They don't claim to be experts. They're simply trying to figure this all out, just like you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Can I Park Here podcast that can be found on startafashiontruck.com. My name is Nashay, and I'm here with
Estrell.
Hey guys, we got a really good episode today. Someone across the ocean has joined us from Germany, so we're really excited to share her story with you.
Yes, the name of her truck is, let me try not to butcher this, Truck-a-Porter. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did it.
Yeah, you have to say it though. It's more of like that France,
Okay,
accent.
don't pretend that you're from Germany. Okay, let's not do this.
It's more like a Francais, like a truck-a-porter,
Okay, keep it
Okay, that
moving.
was really terrible.
Yeah.
She says it so, Daniela says it so much better.
But her branding, her truck, everything is just so gorgeous. And I know Nashay, she is in love with the whole style of everything.
I mean, I'm just saying, people, this is my thing. You guys know I'm a designer and I'm a design snob, and I'm one with that. Okay. So I am all about having a good logo, a good wrap. And then also, when we say brand, we're talking about, using consistent colors, on all your graphics, throughout all your social media accounts, on your website, like having a style. So when you go to her Facebook, Instagram, her website, like all of them feel like they're connected. And that's when you know you're doing a good job. And I think she does a really good job of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to hear her story, here we go.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Can I Park Here? We have Daniela from Truck-a-Porter, and hopefully I said that right. But Daniela, can you just tell us where you're from and a little bit about you, and then why you decided to start the fashion truck?
Sure. Hi. My name is Daniela, and I am from Frankfort, Germany, so kind of far away. I am 27 years old, and my background is completely not in fashion. I did my business bachelor's degree. I worked in strategy for Europe's biggest airline, which is Lufthansa Airlines. And then one day I decided to quit my job and open a fashion truck.
So what was the driving factor in you wanting to quit your job?
Actually, I had always wanted to or thought about doing something for myself. I always, had that voice in my head saying, what if one day you're your own boss? And I kind of liked that voice. So it was always in my head. And working in the corporate world, I liked it. But there was a point in my career where I started thinking about, is this what I want to do with the next 20 years of my life? 30 years of my life? And the answer was kind of no. So I started thinking about what I could do. And I've always loved fashion. Fashion has always been something I did kind of on the side. I had a very small, very embarrassing fashion blog once in a day. And so I always loved it. And I thought, wow, maybe, you could open your own boutique. And so I started looking for stores that were, open for rent here in Frankfurt and Hamburg and Munich and Cologne and all different German cities, because I was like, yeah, I'll move to Berlin, no problem. But I found that rent is very expensive, and I kept thinking about it. And then one day I saw a very, very small, very cute store for rent. And I thought, is this, that might be too small for a boutique. So I basically Googled small store interior, and up came this very cute little store, and I clicked on it, and it was a fashion truck. I had never heard of it before. never. And I was instantly in love with the idea. So I did research, which meant I spent a whole weekend looking up all the trucks that are there, reading every article that there is. And that's when I found your blog, your website, and the Facebook group, and your podcast.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And yeah, from then on, I think it took me about 1 month to decide that this was going to be the thing. And then I told my boss, and and then a few months later, I had my last day at work in February this year.
Oh, so you're fairly new. Okay.
Yeah, I launched beginning of August, actually. So 2 months.
Okay.
Very, very fresh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where did you find your truck?
I found it online. We don't have Craigslist here in Germany, but we have very similar things. So there's websites where you can, sell your old car. I don't know, probably you have that in the US as well. And there is the same version for trucks and all other kinds of, I think it's called utility vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I kept searching for old like UPS trucks. We have UPS here, and we have like the German Postal Service, and they all use these trucks. And having listened to the podcast, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get one of these. So I searched and looked for quite some time. I think whole March and half of April, and I looked at a lot of them, and they were in such bad shape. They were like very old, and they smelled like cigarettes because the driver is always smoking there. And I took my dad to look at them, and he was like, "Oh, maybe we can do something out of it, but it's awful." And I didn't have a good feeling about them. And then one day I stumbled across this ambulance, and I thought, "Wow, ambulances! They have the same shape. People can stand in them, and they have already electricity installed, and they have like heating, and they have air conditioning, and they have everything, and they're maintained very well." So I started looking into ambulances, and I think 3 weeks later I found one, and it was like 2 hours away from my house, and I took my dad, and we drove down and looked at it, and it was like a real ambulance. It had like everything inside. You could see the stretcher, and there was like it was very creepy. It was very creepy, and it was like all of the cabinets and everything still inside, and on the outside it said Red Cross, and like an ambulance. And I was like, can I turn this into something? But it was good. It was it's from 2002. It's a Mercedes-Benz diesel. It was very well maintained, looked very good, and was clean, and it didn't smell like cigarettes, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so I liked it, and I said that I loved it. And then the guy told me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. This one is actually already sold." Aww. I was like, seriously? I drove like 2 hours, almost 3 hours to look at this, and I left my card there just, in case he got other ones. And then a week later, he called me and said the original buyer was from Italy. I don't know. He wasn't interested anymore. And if I was interested to buy it. So in the end, I got it. And I'm very happy with it so far.
Cool. I think this is the first ambulance that we've had.
Yeah, I mean, in Germany we have this this weird rule that you cannot drive any kind of vehicle with any kind of driver's license. Probably you have like a similar thing in the States. I don't know, but with my driver's license, I can drive trucks up to 3.5 tons of weight. So there's like this limit, and within this limit there is like a restricted amount of trucks that you can drive. For example, I looked at a lot of these American box trucks and step vans, and there's actually companies in Germany that import them and then they sell it to you. But you still have to change a lot, because to drive a car in Germany, or to drive American cars in Germany, you have to change like little things like the blinkers, the lighting and everything, and then you have to install some sort of filters to the motor, and I don't know, weird things. Really? And it was super expensive. It would have cost me like 25,000 euros to get a truck that's like around $30,000 that cost like $10,000 in the States just to import it and to have it fixed. So, and also they were too heavy for what I can drive with my driver's license, which is like the regular one. So yeah, I didn't want to, you know, do a whole other course and have a whole other driver's license just to drive the truck, you know, because that would have taken me another month probably. Yeah, so I ended up with this one. And it's actually, of all the trucks I can drive, it's the one with the biggest like box in the back. So it's still very tiny compared to a lot of trucks in the US, but yeah, it was the biggest that I could find and that I can drive.
But it looks like you have a lot of stuff in there though.
Yeah, I tried my best. It's actually the cargo room is 12 feet long and it's 7 feet wide. So I don't know if that's like a regular sized or a small sized. You have more experience. But I try to fit a lot of stuff in there. And I also have a dressing room, like a real one encased by 3 walls. That was important for me for some reason. Yeah, because I feel very weird when I don't have like walls around me when I change. So I wanted to have like a real room. Right. And yeah, I try to utilize all of the space, but without making it too, you know, without putting too much in there. Because it's a small room, so I didn't want to make it smaller. Yeah, that's my truck, a little truck. And yeah, I installed flexible shelving. So it's an IKEA system that has like these poles from the ceiling to the floor. And then I can just, you know, put like shelves and all the racks and everything just as I like. And I can change it up if I have like more hanging stuff or if I want to do a flat lays or whatever. So I can change it up.
Now you're, you know, from your truck to your website to your Instagram, you know, social media accounts, all of them, like across the board, you have a very distinct brand, you know, like you kind of put pink throughout like everything. The truck is pink. I feel like it's very, very kind of clean design, a lot of white or light backgrounds. How did you kind of come up with that brand? Is that just your style? So it naturally came out when you were building your brand? Did you have to look around a lot and then determine like what kind of like your aesthetic was? Like, how did you figure out, you know, what your brand was going to look like?
First of all, thank you very much. Brand consistency is like, it was like a challenge for me, but thanks for noticing. Actually, I wanted something that's girly, but not too cheesy. So because I think I'm girly, but not too cheesy. So I wanted my brand to reflect, a little bit of myself so I could be authentic when interacting with customers or basically anybody. And with that idea, I went actually to a branding agency here in Germany. And I asked them to design a logo for me. And then we talked a lot about colors. And I said, well, I don't know why. Maybe it's all of these pink trucks in the US, but I kind of like pink. But I didn't want a hot pink. I wanted like a soft thing and a very light color. So yeah, together we came up with, then let's just go with pink. And for me, it was very important to have this one girly element, and then that's it. That's why a lot of white came into the picture, and the font also. My font is very clear and clean, and also the inside of my truck. I don't have a lot of I don't know how to say, like a lot of girly details. The walls are brick walls and the floor is just wood and everything is very clean. And I try to keep my communication, just the same. So it's the perfect mixture of minimal design and also a little bit girly.
Yeah, I love the logo.
You do? Oh, thank
Yeah,
you
I
very
do.
much. Thank you so much. Actually, when I had like different designs, the agency sent me like different ideas, and everyone I showed them to was for a different design, for a different logo. And I don't know why, I kind of love this one, and I was thinking, I'll just go with it. And I haven't regretted it so far. I like it too, so thank you. But it was that's one thing I'm very grateful for. The guys that designed this for me, their name is 99 No's, and they're based in Cologne. If any German people are listening, they're awesome. And their philosophy is actually, they're called 99 No's because they say it takes 99 no's to get a real yes from a customer, and that's what they're after. So I love the idea. That's why I went with them. Anyways, they said I should do, because the name of my company is so long, it's Truck à Porter, so a lot of 3 words and very long. So they said I should also get like a miniature version of my logo. And that's my profile picture, for example. And I have like a bigger one that really actually says Truck à Porter, and the small one is just like a sign that's the 3 letters T, A, and P combined. So I have both, and I'm very grateful for that, because the small one I can put on stickers and profile pictures and everything. It's like round. It's like fits in a square format. And the bigger one I have on my truck, and I have in my my business cards and everything that has a little bit more space. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And I like the inside too. What type of wood do you have? Because it looks like you also even have wood on, I guess, the door that separates like the driver area in the back. But I feel like that gives it like a really warm feel too. But what type of wood is that?
Let me just punch it into Google so I can say you the American name or the English name.
No worries.
Actually, it's while I'm doing this, it's not a door. Actually, I don't have a door. That was the one not so great thing in the truck. It just has a window, so it's completely separate. Just a wall. The name is spruce. Is that, that kind of tree? Spruce?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's spruce.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit weird, but I tried to keep all the wood inside the truck the same color, and I have it on the floor. It's vinyl which sheeting. Did I say that? Vinyl sheeting? Yeah, vinyl sheet. That I glued to the floor, and then this wall that you're talking about. Actually, it was white like all the other walls, and I wanted to put up the same wallpaper. I have this white brick wallpaper, and actually the idea was born out of desperation. I was just so over, putting up wallpaper. It was awful. It took like forever. So I was like, oh, this wall, I was thinking, what can I do to that wall? And then I went to my Pinterest inspiration board, which I set up for the whole truck and how I wanted it to look. So I had quite a lot of inspiration pictures on there. And one of the pictures, I went back and looked at all of them, and one had like an accent wall, like it was called like a wood accent wall, and I liked it. And so I just drove to the hardware store, or how do you say that? Like the Home Depot equivalent in German. And I got this wood, which was like, in total, I think it cost me like 10 euros, like $12 or something. And it was a thing. I mean, it was done in like 1.5 hours. And I was so glad that I didn't have to put all the wallpaper up and sand down the wall before that and do all of that stuff. So that's how this wall was born. But I actually really like it. It gives a very warm atmosphere to the truck.
Yeah, no, I love it. And what has, the reception been? Are people like, what is this?
Yes.
Am I supposed to walk in here? Like,
Definitely.
What have you kind of had to deal with?
Actually, because I think I am the second fashion truck in Germany, and we are, I think now there's like 3 or 4 in total. So no one has ever heard of it, and people just don't know it. And I live in a bigger city with modern people who have seen food trucks and eaten at food festivals and everything. So they're open to new stuff, but still, a lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't know you were supposed to walk in." Like I thought you lived in there, or you just transport the stuff, or So I have to put up like signs on the outside. Yeah, it's okay to come in, and more stuff inside. And I'm always, when I'm set up, I'm always at the door or outside talking to people. Say, "There's more inside," because I have like a little bit on the outside. I have like a few clothes on the outside, and then I can say there's more inside, and there's a dressing room and everything, and so people come in. But a lot of people ask me if it's my camper or if I,
Well, I like what you've done. You got like the grass, like the listeners out there definitely go to like her Instagram account. We'll have a link in the show notes. But I like how you have like that faux grass, like outside the truck, and then you have the steps. You got like a couple of plants with it looks like a pink planters or vases or whatever. And so it does feel like very warm and inviting. So hopefully that's helped a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it does a little bit. I mean, you guys know, like women stop for clothes any time of the day. So they stop, I got their attention, and then I try to make it very obvious that they're supposed to come in, and that I'm happy if they come in, and that, everything is open for them. And I got, as you just mentioned, I got the stairs. They're actually 4 stages. So there are stage stairs that you can disassemble, and then I can just pack them in the truck myself, and then I can get them out. And I wanted to get something, that looked professional and reliable. We Germans were very neat, and we want everything to look like reliable and well constructed. So yeah, I try my best to make it look very professional and inviting.
Yeah, no, I think I'm still like, going through your Facebook page as you're, talking here. And I mean, really, folks, I would definitely look at this because, I mean, it's all about like looking like you're a real business and really having a certain type of style that kind of appeals to your audience. And I love, like, even on the outside, you have something that says, it looks like it says the story. Is that like a little story of the truck printed on the outside?
Yes. Actually, that was, that's supposed to make people come closer, because what you can see is that, when I'm parked at events, for example, it works amazingly. So that's like a great recommendation for anyone who wants to open a fashion truck. Use the space that you have on your truck to really draw people closer. Because, for example, if I'm parked at an event, like a food truck festival or something, which I've done quite a few of, and like people are standing away from my truck, and they see this pink big thing, and they don't really know what it is, and then they come closer. And what I have is, on one side of the truck, I have a part that says, like, a big letters, the story, and then under there is like a whole paragraph in very tiny letters. And that's actually the story of how Truck Apotheke came to life. So it's a little bit of my story, what I did before that, and also it says why I do this, and it says that it inspires me to just bring fun and love of fashion anywhere, to where people are just living their lives, and to make it easier to love fashion and to really embrace their style. And then I invite them, I say, and then I would be very glad if you came inside and told me what inspires you. So this is supposed to like start a conversation without me having to be there and talking to them and saying, "Hi, how are you? My name is Dani. Come inside." Nah, nah, nah. So a lot of the time, people step inside the truck and say, "Hi, are you Daniela? I read your story. It's so amazing." And then you have a conversation going without even having to try very hard.
Genius.
Yeah, and I I like the story. Also, it inspires me every time I see it and I read it. I'm reminded of why I'm doing this.
Do you have any parking problems?
Oh, yeah,
where you are?
I don't say problem. I say, what is it?
Like challenges, maybe?
It's not a problem. It's a challenge. I learned that in my corporate days. You never have problems. You always have very interesting challenges. Actually, in Germany, you need a permit to park and sell in any space that is not private. So just, on the road and parking spots in the city or anywhere, you need a permission from the city. And most German cities don't give that permission. I asked all of the 20 biggest cities in the country, and all of them said, thanks, but no thanks. Because they get so many emails from a lot of food trucks, asking if they could park somewhere and then sell. And they say, no, we say no to everyone because we don't want our inner cities to be crowded and full of food trucks, and there is no parking spaces for the people left. So, yes, it is a challenge because I always have to find private spots to park on. But I'm working on it, and there is people that own property that are open to the idea, and little by little, I'm finding these people. So it's improving. But for the first 2 months now, I've done a lot of food truck festivals and also handmade design markets. Where you don't need any permission, of course, you just, stand there. Also, I do a pop-up at a, I don't know how it's called in English. It's like an area where there is a lot of businesses. So big corporations that have their headquarters there. So there's a lot of people who work there. And there is a big parking lot that rents parking spaces to the people who work in the area. And I talked to the owner, and he once a week he lets me have a couple of spaces, and I pay him a little money, and then I can stay there and stand there and reach the people that are on their way to work or in their lunch break or after work. So that's the thing I do. And I'm in talks with several other businesses, bigger companies in the region, to park on their property and do lunch break shopping and after work shopping.
Well, before I want to get into your decision to quit your job and do this, full time versus doing both. But before I do that, I want to make sure I don't forget to ask you about the name of your truck, because we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. Can you say, because I believe I said it right, but you say it better, Truckaporte, but can you say the name
Yes.
and then kind of the story behind the name?
Sure. First of all, you said it perfectly. It's the French word, and it's truc-à-porter. So it comes from the French expression prêt-à-porter, which is a fashion word. It's ready to wear. I think most of the listeners might know that term. And it just prêt-à-porter is the fashion word for the collections of designers that you can then buy and wear on the streets, as opposed to the high fashion designs, which is haute couture. So when I was looking for a name for the truck, I was playing around with everything you can imagine, and I think I had a list of 100 names. And then somehow prêt-à-porter just came to my mind because I was thinking about fashion expressions, and I thought, prêt-à-porter, truc-à-porter, that's kind of similar and funny, and it has a lot to do with fashion, and it kind of stuck. So when it was time to, I was like, okay, you got to decide. You got to, you get a corporate design and everything. You got to decide. You have 100 ideas. One of them is good. And I kept, coming back to truc-à-porter. So it's a play on words, and it's got to do with ready-to-wear fashion, which I think fits perfectly because ready to wear. I wanna be able to bring fashion to the people and give them something that they can wear and not something that they just hang inside their closet and never look at again. I wanted to sell stuff that is highly wearable, truc-à-porter just stuck.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's story behind the name.
Yeah. Okay. And then, okay. So a lot of the people in our private Facebook group, they're struggling, right, with trying to determine, especially if you have bills, rent, mortgage, whatever, a car payment, all this stuff that you're responsible for paying every month. You have this stable job and you have this idea of, starting this boutique. The choice of walking away from a stable job is a little terrifying. So I'm just curious what went into your decision to do it, and how did you make sure like you were set up, so you could have something to eat every month and a place to stay, a roof over your head.
Okay, so first, I think there's a couple of reasons or arguments or points to that. First, yes, I had a very stable job. I had a very good salary each month, and it was like, as I said, biggest airline in Europe, very dependable employer, lots of benefits. So it was a great job. I was in a great position. And then when this idea came up, I was thinking about doing it part-time. I don't know. I'm someone who likes to put 100% of everything they have into whatever they're doing. So I was putting in 100% into my job. I was working like 14, 15 hours a day, and I was, always at the office and always, so I couldn't really imagine how I was going to do anything besides, working at my day job. And I don't know. I was thinking about it, but in order to reach my decision, I did what every business nerd does. I built me a huge Excel spreadsheet, and I really just I did a business case. That's what I did. I sat down, and it took me like a month. And I punched in all the numbers, and I researched a lot about, how much am I going to make from one event, and how much does wholesale clothing cost, and how much does the average German spend on fashion per year, and I don't know, something like that, and seasonalities of fashion, and how much does it cost to stay or stand on a food truck festival, everything. And I researched everything, and then I put everything into my huge spreadsheet. I think it had like 25 tabs or something. I really calculated everything. And then I did like different scenarios, like worst case and best case and everything. And then I entered my savings that I had. And and then Excel told me that if everything went really bad, I could still afford somehow to make a living. Okay. And then I just believed in that now. Actually, I looked at it and I thought about it, and maybe I was just a little crazy, but I thought, okay, if you want to try this, then, try it with everything you have. And I was in the lucky position. I don't have any children. I don't have any property. So I rent my apartment. I don't have any mortgages. I don't have any car credits. I had no responsibilities, so it was the perfect time to try something and fall down. And I also said, usually the new businesses fail, like I think within the first 3 years. So I said, you're 26 now. If you fail, you're under 30. Everything's fine. You're gonna get out somehow. Yeah. And I think I didn't, in the end, I didn't think about it too much. I just said, can I live with the worst outcome? And I thought about the worst outcome. The worst would be I spend all of my savings, and this thing crashes, and then I'm left with a truck and a lot of inventory and no job. And I said to myself, are you willing to live with this and find a way out of this? And I said to myself, yeah, it's worth trying. I think maybe it's like a little bit being a little crazy. I don't have this is not a very inspiring or very interesting answer, but it's just a fact. I just decided to do it and just took the leap.
No,
That's
no,
all I did.
I think that's great. I think that will give a lot of people something to think about as they wrestle with that question.
I think
Uh,
for me, really, the most important thing for me was don't think about everything that's gonna, how amazing it's gonna be. You can do that. Of course, you have to do that. But first of all, think about the worst thing that can happen. And if you can live with the worst thing that can happen, and if you can see yourself finding a solution for that, and if you say, yes, I think I could even find a solution for that somehow, then do it.
mm.
That's what I did.
No, good advice. Well, I just have a few wrap up questions just to help the audience get to know you a little bit better. And
Sure.
it'll be very interesting to hear your answers to these because, of course, we've only interviewed people from the US, so like your favorites are going to be completely different. But do you have
Try
a
me.
favorite? Okay. I know it's like a game show.
I know the questions, so try me. I
Do you
listen to all
have
of your podcasts.
Oh yeah. So you're
Yeah, I
ready.
did.
You're ready. Do you have a favorite podcast, blog, book, or TV show? And if so, what is it?
Of course, podcast, because actually, to be honest, you guys were the first podcast I ever listened to. So I'm going to say, can I park here? Of course. I also now listen to a really cool podcast from a guy that's Australian, and it's called the Small Business Big Marketing Show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool because he interviews like all small business owners, mostly Australian, and he talks with them like for about an hour about their business, how they market it, why they did it, and what their tips are. So I highly recommend it to any small business owner who wants to, just get inspiration from others. And books, my favorite book I would say is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I don't know if you know that one. It's an older one, and it's really cool. It's about I think it's set like in older times, but it's about a young man who then gives up his job and everything he has because of a dream, and then travels the world. And in the end, I think he finds that life rewards the people who just go after the dreams. And it's very beautifully written. It's by a Portuguese author, The Alchemist. I can highly recommend it. And that would be my favorites.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard of that one. We'll include it in the show notes. And then if you could have any celebrity, entertainer, model, athlete, whoever visit your mobile boutique, who would it be?
Okay, this is going to be so boring for all of the American listeners. But actually, because I'm a business owner, so I have to think about my business. And I would love like one of the most successful German fashion bloggers to just come into my truck. And that her name is Farina Opoku. And she actually has a blog and an Instagram account that's called Nova Lana Love. So it's like a fashion blog and fashion blogger, and she's amazing. She's really cool. So it would be great to have her in the truck and get all of her ideas and pick her brain and make everything amazing with her.
Oh yeah, I just went to the site. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really cool.
So yes, if she has a Twitter account, we'll be sure to tweet her out and
Perfect.
say, "Hey, visit this truck."
Perfect. Because I don't want to be some weird stalker, but it's great.
And then, what do you like to do to just wind down and de-stress when you have a little bit of free time?
Well, when I have a little bit of free time, my boyfriend starting to hate me because I'm always on my phone. But I think this is a common thing that happens. No, but actually very, very boring. Netflix. Love Netflix. It's like when I have a little bit of time, that's mostly what we do. My boyfriend and I were absolute binge watchers. Like we binge watched Suits, House of Cards, The Walking Dead, Scandal, and right now we're binge watching Dexter.
Oh wow.
So
Netflix is just universal. Like
it's universal. It's everywhere. I love it. I think I haven't watched like anything in German for years. I always watch the English versions, like the original ones. So it's kind of a learning experience as well. When you spend like a whole afternoon and whole day, sometimes Saturday or in front of Netflix. And also, I like to go onto YouTube and watch like John Oliver and Colbert because I love them.
No, yeah, and your English is like amazing. So have like you ever been to the US, or did you just kind of like take some courses while in Germany? Like how did you and why did you decide to learn English?
Thank you, first of all. I'm glad you didn't, you were able to understand me. I don't have that big of an accent. Actually, I've been to the US, multiple times, but only like for like holidays for some days, or it's sometimes like 2 weeks. As I work for an airline, we get flight benefits. So I traveled. I was lucky to travel quite a bit. And I love the States. I've been to New York and LA and San Francisco and Chicago. I haven't been, but Washington I've been. Actually, my mom is in DC right now. She's a flight attendant for Lufthansa. So she's in DC. And no, but what I did was watch a lot of MTV when I was like 15. And like Cribs and all of these things, like old but still good.
Right.
Pimp My Ride or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
And they were actually the only programs that weren't translated into German, because German TV, we watch the same shows as you do. We have like everything. We have Navy CIS and we have like Grey's Anatomy and we have everything, but it's in German. And MTV back in the day didn't translate. So I watched a lot of that. That's where I got my accent. And all Germans have to learn English from second or third grade on until like the end. So I always had English in school. And then I think when I was like 19 or 20, I started watching all of the movies and all of the TV series I could get in English. And I also only read English books. And I try to keep up with it as best as I can, as good as I can.
Fascinating. No, amazing. Great job.
Well, thank you. Thanks. But it's great because I can talk to you guys and, you can get to know the world when you speak English. So it's really amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. And then are you Android or iPhone? And what's your favorite app?
I have a MacBook, an iMac, an iPad, and 2 iPhones, and an iPod, and an Apple TV. So,
clearly she's part of
I know. Wonder where we're going here.
I'm iPhone all the way since 2007. Never had another phone. I always hate on everyone else who doesn't have an iPhone. Absolutely an iPhone person, although my iPhone, for the first time since 2007, broke. Now I have a broken display, so I kind of not like it that much right now, but I love Apple and love everything they do. Favorite app. The app that I use most is probably the page manager for Facebook and Instagram. And I love my banking app. Like totally random. I love it because they were like the first ones that introduced the Touch ID technology, and I just love them for that. So that is kind of weird, but I love my banking app as well.
Yeah, I love my banking app too.
Yeah, but
and I can take pictures of my checks to deposit them. It's so freaking awesome.
That's cool. We don't really use checks here in Germany, so we don't have that functionality. But that's cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, some banks really get it. I think there's gonna be like a big, like another crash, like for the banks, just because some banks don't get it. Don't get that the new generation needs different things. When I tried to open my business account with my bank, I had to go to the bank, make an appointment, and then go to another bank across town for this appointment just to open an account. And I already knew what account I wanted to open, and I had all the information, ready. And they made me like make 2 appointments when I'm just starting a company and go across town and just, waste like 3 hours of my time, which is so weird. We do everything on our phones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So easy. So yeah, definitely my banking app.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
the page manager for Facebook.
Final question would be, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail?
I would quit my well-paying job, buy a truck, paint it pink, put a lot of clothes in there, and drive around my country as one of the first ones to do that and sell clothes. That's what I did.
So you are literally living the dream.
I am, the difference is I don't really know that I'm not going to fail, but I sure as hell hope I'm not going to fail. So I'm putting all of my faith into that right now.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, I know it's only been a couple of months, but you said like you've done multiple events. So it sounds like you're off to a great start.
Yeah, so far people are loving it, and I really love I love the Germans just for being open and being like, liking new stuff and being curious and coming in and giving such great feedback and being so supportive. So it's really been a great experience so far, and I hope that I'm gonna be able to do this for a long time.
All
right. Well, where can the listeners find you online?
Easy. You can find me on Facebook under Trucka Porter. So that's TruckaPorter. And the same in Instagram. I don't use Twitter, but I have a Twitter account with the same name. My website is truckaporter.com. And I think that's the most important. Yeah, those are the most important media outlets I use.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us across the world, right? I think you've given some great information here. I absolutely love your style. So we're going to have all your links in the show notes. And listeners, definitely you should go and check out her style because I think it's a great example of like branding done right. So thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. It's such an honor. I've been listening to your podcast for so long now. And thanks for having me on.
Just like I said in the beginning, like her branding is on point and, having the story on the side, money, because it's all about like pulling people in and then her explaining like the story that she put on there too. That gets people excited about supporting you, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I also love the fact that, when I asked her what could she do if she knew she could not fail, she literally has done it already. She, she quit her job to pursue her dream. And it's basically, guys, you don't know what's going to happen if you don't make an attempt to try.
Yeah. And for you guys out there, I've said in the past, like, that decision is very personal. You have to, I still say you have to be smart about it and you have to really think about it because you do need to eat, right? You do need a roof over your head. But I love the way that she went about it. Like she was hardcore. She did a spreadsheet. She looked at her finances. She had like a, savings account. And then she was like, okay, I could do this. But then on the flip side of it too, with doing all that, she just mentally said, like, can I be prepared or am I prepared for the worst case scenario? So she was prepared, but mentally she was prepared for the worst case scenario and then ultimately made a decision that was right for her in her life. And I thought that was very well stated.
Absolutely.
It's just exciting. I'm like, so I'm like really happy for her and it'll be interesting to see kind of look at her accounts like a year from now and look at how she builds her audience and kind of what she's doing with the fashion truck, what type of events she's doing. But you could tell like she's someone that is very determined. She does her research and And she has really good style too. So clearly she's in the right industry.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is the first ambulance truck that we've had, which is pretty cool. I think there are some trucks in the US that have used old ambulances, but which seems kind of like maybe a little weird and creepy for some people, but it's smart because, they're just as good as, a regular box truck or a bus or a trailer. It's something else for you to think of if you're not finding what you're looking for, consider that.
So we hope you have enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to go to iTunes and leave us a review and a rating. We really appreciate it. And if you're looking for us on social media, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram as FFT_official_, and on Facebook as Find a Fashion Truck. So thanks for parking here.
Take care.